Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how to get hired as a ghostwriter. I wish I knew these tips when I first started ghostwriting, but it's been a long and interesting journey. By the end of this video, you will learn how to lean on your network and how to shoot your shot. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free opportunity. Let's dive in. Getting hired as a ghostwriter is a thrilling, challenging, frustrating, emotional, interesting process. When I first got into ghostwriting in 2019, I was not interested in the hustle. I was not interested in having lead calls. I was not interested in finding people myself. I wanted somebody to do that work for me, and I worked with different companies that provided me with leads. They were clients of the companies that I would then be contracted to ghostwrite for. And I thought this was a great setup. I thought it was awesome. I am going to just work with these companies and make this all happen. Here's the problem. The companies don't pay the ghostwriters enough money. So if you're ghostwriting with a company like this, you have to stack multiple projects on top of each other in order to make a rate that's fair, that's adequate, that's industry standard. So you're really working for lower rates and a lot of the money that the clients are paying would then go to the company. You know, the owner is going and buying another tennis court and you're, working on a book for $6,000. I remember my first ghostwriting project. It was demanding. It was a 50,000 word manuscript in 6 weeks. And think about the math on that. I was writing 1,500, 2,000 words a day, every single day for 6 weeks, cranking this thing out. And I ended up getting $6,000 at the end of it. And I had to even chase the company to get paid for it. It was ridiculous, and then I was going on Upwork and trying to find people to work with there, and they were paying me $1,000 if they paid me at all. I remember I worked with Spectacular Solar, the solar energy company in New Jersey. They wanted to write a book, and I started working with them, and suddenly they just disappeared. They never paid me. Eventually I gave up on the whole process of working with them, but it's really frustrating, and ultimately being able to believe in yourself and being able to go and get projects yourself is going to help you in the end. It's great to be able to have these conversations with authors, with people who are writing books, to be able to figure out what they need. Ultimately I see myself as like a travel guide of some kind. I'm helping this person get through this process, but ultimately finding out what they need and helping them get those things. Sometimes it means me doing those things for them and I can work with them. And sometimes it means finding somebody in my network who might be better suited for it. So it's great to be able to think of yourself as a problem solver, as somebody who can help somebody get past this process and with clarity and understanding, and you can help them forward, because by doing these things yourself, by reaching out to clients, by networking, by connecting with people, and ultimately believing in yourself, you can have a much more rewarding process. So getting past the missteps that I had early in my career, I now instead have focused on my network and focused on building my network and focused on reaching out to people within my network and outside of my network to try to find others who are interested in working with me. Through my connections, I've been able to line up some really powerful and engaging book projects. Through referrals from previous clients, I've been able to work on some really meaningful projects. And ultimately, through my own research and reaching out to company leaders and thought leaders and saying, I think you should write a book, and starting the conversation, I've had a lot of success that way too. So it's really interesting to be able to start those conversations yourselves and put yourself in a position to succeed. And there's a 50 Cent quote I saw on social media that I think is really meaningful. And he talks about a bottle of water and how in certain places the bottle of water is worth nothing or very little, maybe $1 or $2, all the way up to, if you get a bottle of water on an airplane, it could be $7, It's really about putting yourself in the room where you're going to be the most valuable, putting yourself in connection with people who understand your worth and how you can help them. You're not going to be able to do that by working for companies. You're going to be able to do that by working with yourself and really focusing forward on your own growth as a business person, as a solutions provider, as somebody who's helping people cross the bridge on their book goals. When I reach out to people and I go back and forth on this. So every once and again, I will reach out to somebody and say, I would love to write a book with you. A lot of those times, those emails or messages go unresponded to, unread, but sometimes they get read. What is your chance of success? The more that you can put yourself out there, the better it's going to be. I love too starting conversations with people who might be interested in a book because, sometimes it takes 3, 6, 9, 12 months before somebody actually says, yes, I'm pulling the trigger on moving forward with a ghostwriter. So you could have an ongoing conversation with somebody for a long time before they finally want to move forward on a book. You don't want to focus on selling them. You want to put yourself in position to be the help that they're going to need to help them cross the bridge. You want to be the solution. You want to be helping them get past this point of frustration or difficulty. But at the same time, they need to walk through this door themselves. They need to want it and want it badly. When you think about a typical ghostwriting project of 3 to 6 months, maybe even longer, and then more time on top of that before the book is actually published, there's so much insecurity and doubt that can develop for an author. Any author, even a great author, is going to have some doubts and fears and issues that they're needing to work through. At any point in time, especially when money is involved, people are looking for the easiest path. They're looking for a path to walk away. So you can't really high pressure sell somebody into a book, into working with you for a book, because eventually they're going to get frustrated and walk away because it's too tough. They need to want it. They need to want it. And, it's so exciting when I can get to that point with somebody that they want to move forward in an engagement. And it can be difficult and challenging to work through those earlier conversations, but this is a great opportunity to work with somebody. I love that opportunity and I love being able to help them, but they need to want it. This is their step and their goal and their journey, and it's just so powerful to be able to help people. I see my purpose and my career as being able to help people tell their stories, and being able to unlock the power of somebody's story when I'm working with them is awesome. It's such an awesome thing, and it's such a special thing. And the people who see that and are interested in that process, I love it. Other people walk away. Other people, move forward and don't want to finish the book, and it happens. It happens. There's a lot of doubts that come into book writing and publishing, and it's just so important to be able to work with people who have clarity and are ready to proceed. If you want to learn more about how to get hired as a ghostwriter, I definitely think you should check out another video that I recorded. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called How to Publish a Book. In that video, I cover all of the key elements that are required on that process to publication, from design, from editing, marketing, promotion, book description, all the little things amounting to the big things. So you definitely want to check that out if you have questions about the book publication process. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.